Hey guys, welcome back to Selenium with Java September 2023 batch online training session 4. In today's session, I will cover the Java conditional statement where I will cover if else, nested else if, and switch statement. Then I will cover more insight on method, constructor, wrapper class along with date and calendar functions. And also you can learn right what is exception handling in Java and how you can handle the exception using try catch block and finally keyword. So conditional statements are used to control the flow of the program and insert verification point and error handling. So I was telling right. So in the automation, your objective is not to right navigate from one page to another page. No, it is not only your objective. Definitely objective will be there. Right, you can need to click it and you need to go to from one page to another page. You need to go to the end to end flow. But apart from that, just like the functional testing, right, you need to verify that actual things happening with the like expected one. So definitely a lot of framework like testing is generally they are having some assertion. But apart from this assertion, Java is having some sort of advantages through which right we can also try to check the condition whether condition is meet or not. In case condition is meeting, you can pass the test case. In case condition is failing, definitely you can fail the test case. So there are conditional lot of conditional statement available like if else, like if else if ladder or else if statement or nested if else and switch statement. So, if statement is used to specify a block of Java code to be executed only the condition is true. But in case condition is not true or false, then what will happen? So that will not be covered in the if statement. So that is the drawback of if statement. So to control that drawback, an if statement can be followed by an optional else statement. So else statement is used to specify a block of code which can be executed in case the condition is not met or false. So I will cover what is the how you can just create the if and else statement. What is our project? September, April 2000. So I'll create a new class too for today. So we'll try to create a if statement first. So what is the syntax? I've tried to give an here, right? If condition and the statement. So before the condition, I need to definitely declare some variable, right? Suppose say I want to check whether a person, right, is adult or not. Okay. So let's declare something variable called integer age equal to say 30. I can give it. Here I can create a condition if age greater than 18. So that is my condition, right? And there is my statement. So what I'll be doing is so right? The person is adult. Okay. So that is the way. If my condition is true, then only my remaining right block of code will be executed. So that is the way, right? You can try to give the condition. You could see that part is executed. But what will happen in case my condition is not match or false? So here my condition is false. Age I have given 10, which is not greater than 18. So what will happen? It will be giving me simply blank result because if statement only holds for the positive one. It does not support you in case the condition is not meeting or false. I mean, not meeting. So what I can do, I can add an else part, which is optional part in the if part. So in case your condition is not met, that else part will be executed. Okay, so I can give something like that. The person is not adult. Simply, maybe child or infant like that. Okay, now if I want to run it, so as and when condition will not be matched or positive, negative or the right part, it will go for the else part. So that is the way automatically you can get the desired part. So that is called if and the else part. Then in case you want to have something right inside the if else, that is called nested if else, you can also do it. So say the same thing I am just trying to do, but within the if part, in case my thing is right adult, Then also I want to check the person is senior citizen or not. So in that part I can also add one more if else. Okay, if again I can give age greater than 60. So what will happen? So that part I can cut it. I can paste it here. So person is adult and senior citizen too, right? So that is the if and else inside the if else, or else. So that is called nested, right? Something inside something. Okay, the person is adult but not senior citizen. So okay. So what will happen in case the past your if condition is hold good, then your again it will try to check the inner part. So outer part is in case it is hold good, then it will try to go for the inner part, and again it will go for the if and else. But in case outer part is also not good, then it will go for the else part. And in the else part also you can go some if and else also. So that is the way your nested if else will work. Now let's try to execute. So here, right, if is outer if is not meeting the condition, so it is directly going to the outer else part. Now let's try to give something called 20. So outer if part is now matching it here. Now it will try to check inner if and else, but inner if will not be positive here, not matching, so it will go for the inner else. So that is the way you can get to know that person is adult but not senior citizen. You could see. But in case you are giving it called maybe 70 years old, so definitely person is adult as well as the age is greater than 60, so is senior citizen. That person is senior citizen, right? So that is the way you can also deal with the nested if else. You could see person is adult and senior citizens too, because your outer if part is positive, your inner part is also positive, and that is the way it is working. Okay, so that is the way you can deal with different kind of if else and nested if else. Then so here we are dealing with like couple of condition, right? Two or three condition. In case your requirement is that you need to go with suppose say multiple stuff, right? Multiple condition, then your if else will not also support. So for that you have to go with else if statement or if else if ladder, so that in case your first condition is not, it will go for second condition, third condition, fourth, fifth, like that. That is the way you can go for 8, 10 condition, whatever way you want to define, right? So it is kind of ladder. In your first step is not, it will go for second, third, fourth, five, like that is the way. Okay, so just I am giving some sort of say define some other kind of variable here. Suppose in the in a school or college, right, there will be some grade based on the percentile you are getting it, or based on the marks you are getting it. So say some percentage it will fail, some percentage grade D is grade C, grade A, B, A plus, like that. You can differentiate any number of way. So I can define some variable called integer marks variable, and here I can give some value, say it will be 0 to 100, like say 37, like that, any value. Okay, then I want to give if else if ladder. If my marks variable, right, getter equal to 30, and I can give multiple condition also along with marks less than 45. Okay, so what I will be doing, that based on the marks I can simply say that the student got average grade, right, or maybe the grade D. That is the way. Next, so as and when 30% equal to why I am giving, so that he is getting passed, and less than 40 means it will happen till 45, and here I can give getter equal to 45. So till from 45, right, maybe till 59 there will be some other grade. So maybe give something called good grade C. You can give any number of grade. If you want to define 7, 8, 10 grade, you can give it. Then I can give another condition. If marks greater than 60, say till less than 80, I can give very good, first class like that, right? Anything you can do, get B. Then if getter equal to 80, so it will definitely go till less than 100. Okay, any value I can give excellent and grade A. Here I have did one mistake. Here it will be else if, not only if, else if. Here also it will be else if. Here it will be also else if. And last part it will be else. So else if means in case one is not matched, it will go for two, second, third, fourth like that, right? And otherwise it will go to the else part. In case not a single condition is matching. So I can give something that like fail or no grade. Okay. Now let's try to execute that if else if ladder or else if statement based on your value. Syntax error. I think another bracket I need to give it here. You could see now average grade D. Why it is working? So I have given the value called 37, and 37 will fall under 30 to 45, so it is giving me average grade D. Now in case you are giving it like 56 like that, so it will fall under 45 to 59, so it will be giving you the good or grade C. You could see. In case you are giving it like 76, so it will fall under 60 to 80, so it will giving you the very good or grade B. In case you are giving it like 97 or 87, it will be like more than 80, so it will be giving you the grade A. You could see, or excellent, whatever you have written here. Now in case you are giving it anything which is less than 30, like 27, so definitely student is getting fail and there will be no grade at all. So that is the way, right? You can definitely, right, work with that one. So in case you want to give like A plus plus or B plus anything, right, you can differentiate like that. 10 marks every brand you can differentiate. So 8 to 10 brand, that is the way you can also differentiate. That is the way. In case you want to give the multiple conditions, so you can use definitely else if or if else if ladder. Then I'll cover in that context with that conditional statement. There is another important thing is called switch statement. So after that, I will take a pause and I will go for any questions in case you are having anything. Okay. So conditional statement is also pretty much similar, right, with the if else part or else if, sorry, else if or if else if ladder. But in case, right, it is more condition is there, like which is more than 8 or 10, it's better to use like switch statement instead of if else if or if else if ladder. A switch statement allows a variable to be tested for equality against a list of values. Each value is called a case, and the variable being used on is checked for each case. Switch statement can work for different data type. It can be character, short, integer, long also. So this case values must be unique. In case of duplicate value, it will throw compilation error. Each case statement can have a break statement which is optional. When the control reaches to the break statement, it jumps the control after the switch statement. If a break statement is not found, it will execute the next case. So what is the syntax here? Switch, expression, case value, and then you can go to the last one and you can have the close it. So let's say, so you are having some higher secondary school where, right, student 5 to student 10 is there, say madhyamik standard school, right, or secondary standard school. Okay, only 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, these are the student is there, or maybe 11, 12 also might be there. So I'm just considering say 6 total class, 5 to 10 standard. So I can define some variable called student class equal to, I can give some value called 6, right? Then I can use switch. switch, and here you need to give the variable name, that is the syntax. Okay, you can refer the syntax here, right? Expression, and you can give some second bracket, and here you can give the case. So what is the case will be like, it will start from 5 to 10, so you can give the case like that way, case 5 and semicolon, and here you can have your statement. So say student belong to fifth standard. Okay, so that is the way I have just want to define, and I want to give every time as a break. Okay, I will let you know what is the importance of the break. Similar way, say total 5, and last one will be default. So you could see some error message is coming. Why error message? Because your case number, right, should be unique always. Otherwise, it will be giving you duplicate case, right? Cannot duplicate. So I can change it to 6, and it will be 6 standard. I can change it to 7. It will be 7 standard. I can change it to 8. So that is the way I can easily tell, right, which standard student is reading, studying. And I can give it 9. So student will be on the 9th standard. I can give it 10. So that is my valid condition, right? 10 standard. And last one I can give it default. So what is that? You no need to give any case. So it will be default. Default student, right, does not belong to 5th to 10th standard. Maybe in primary standard or maybe in the upper class. Here in the last you no need to give the break. No worry. Okay, that is the way you can create a switch statement. Now if you execute it, so based on the condition you are giving, right, it is matching with 6, so it is giving you the output called 6 standard. In case you are giving it like 9 or 8, so it will match on the based on the condition, and that condition will be triggered. You could see that is the condition is triggered, it is coming as 8 standard. Now in case you are giving something outside that case, right, whatever is like the which is not within that 5 to 10 limit, suppose say I am giving 13, right, so it will be also showing you that right, it is not coming under the default part will be executed. You could see student does not belong to have this state standard. Then I have given the break. So as and when condition is matching, immediately that case is, that switch statement is completely terminated, and remaining thing is not getting executed. But in case I am not removing the break, and what will happen? Let's try to remove some or disable some break. I'm just commenting out simply. Okay, the break is not there, and now try to match with here, right? Let's try to see. Am I, in case I'm removing one more break, so that for the 2 break is there, and now condition is I want to match with 7. So what will happen? My expectation is that it should just only print out like that a standard student is belong to 7th standard. But what will happen now? Because after 7th standard, I have removed or disabled all the break, so there is no breaking. It is the conditional statement is not breaking out. Now what will happen? After 7, all the statement will be executed because there is no break. So that is the reason in real time, though it is optional, break is optional in the switch statement, still it is recommended to use all the cases using the break. Otherwise all your code will be executed, right, though your condition is matching only 7, so it will executed all remaining until any break is happening. Now here if you give the break, right, so what will happen? Here break will happen only. So these 3 line will be executed, this line and this line. After that break will happening, and remaining line will be not be executed. So that is the reason it is, though it is optional, without break also your conditional switch statement can work, but I should say that break will be required, right, to get the desired result. So that is the way, right, you can deal with this kind of 5 kind of conditional statement in Java. Anyone, any questions? All good? I mean, I already said, right? In the real time, we should definitely use the switch one. Okay, better. Okay, and in case you are having only two condition, and you can use that if else but only, that's fine. But in the real time, in the framework, mostly you'll be using switch statement. Okay, so another example I have given for the character, you could see the similar way, right? The grade. I've tried to give A, B, C, D like that, so that like because it's one character only, and you can go with that also. Try to just practice this one. Then method, or it is called sometimes functions. So why it is required to create the method? Sometimes it is called reusable component. What does that mean? Method means actually if I just want to take like layman term, right? So that you could see it's called reusable component means you'll be writing it at once time and you can use them n number of time. So before writing a method, let's see, right? Say I want to say hello Java. This is the line of code I want to write. Okay, and I want to write it like maybe 4 times. Okay, so what will happen? I can definitely use it 4 times copy. Okay, there is no harm. The same line of code I can write it for 4 times. But next day, suppose say customer says that instead of hello Java, right, you would need to change hello Java 1. Okay, so I have changed it, right, hello Java 1 for 2 line. One line I have somehow forgotten to change it to hello Java 1, and one line by mistakenly I have did it to hello Java 2. So that as a human being we can do. So what will be the output, right? That will be having some problem. Two output is correct, two is not correct, because in case you are having 1000 line of things, same thing, right? You cannot, you might, right, forget somewhere to implement it. So that is the problem might happen. Say I have 1000 lines, maybe 2 or 3 line I have did the mistake, one line I did not do it, one line I have did it wrong thing. So that kind of happen. So what is the way to prevent this thing? So so that automatically I will just only update or do the needful only one time, and it will affect all my code. So the concept is coming called method or function. A Java method is a set of statements that are grouped together to perform an operation. Whenever user want to perform any operation multiple times, then they can choose methods. Methods are also known as functions. Basically, there are two type of methods available in Java. One is built-in method. So you already see the string method, right? You can compare the string, concatenate the string, you can get the size of the string, you can get the substring, and today I'll cover the date and calendar functions also. This is called built-in method in Java. We are not writing anything created by our own, but they are already developed by Java, and we are just simply using them. Another also is called user defined method. So here we can have two type of method. One is without returning value, one is with returning value. So let's try to see without returning value also. So this is the 4 line of code, right? But in case I want to create a method, so let's see how I can create the method here, which will not return any value. So simply I will create a method. What is the syntax for creating the method? Say public. In case it's not getting anything, you can definitely give void, and method name say test, or maybe hello Java. Okay, so that is the method name, and here I can simply cut any line. Okay, so that is my method. Okay, now I will simply remove all this code. Okay, and this is my method name, and I can just create an object here. Say object equal to new, that is my object. Now with the object I can call this method. Say how many number of time I want to call it. Okay, so it is not like that in a real time, it will not be in a like sequence, it might be like anywhere. So I have used for 5 times. Okay, so now what will happen, you could see, in case you want to execute, you could see everywhere hello Java is getting printed. Now the problem, whatever I was right telling in the last thing, right? Suppose say you want to update to hello Java, instead of hello Java you want to update to hello Java 1. So I am simply updating only one place, which is the method or usable component. Now wherever that method is being called, everywhere it will be updated without any issue. So I will not update it 1000 place, automatically that will be updated accordingly. You could see everywhere it is getting updated. My tomorrow again I need to change it to hello Java, so automatically again it will be updated. That is the beauty of the method. So that you need to write it one time, and in case you need to change anything, it will be simply updating in the method automatically. Wherever the method is getting called, automatically everywhere it will be updated accordingly. So that is without a return type, without any return type. Now I will create a method with some return type. Say I can method called add. This is my method add with return type. Here I can give some argument that I want to, right, add some to variable integer a, integer b. Okay, and then I can store in some integer here, integer say c equal to a plus b. So that is the way I want to add these two parts. And then what I want to return I want to return c. Okay, okay. Now you could see error message is coming. Why? Void method cannot return a value. So what you are returning? I want to return c. So what is c? C is integer. So that integer you have to return it here. Because you are not returning anything, you are returning integer value. Whatever value a plus b sum, that will be stored in c, and that c value you want to return it here. So that is the way, right? You can, right, use something with returning value. So void means it will not return anything, and something in case you are declaring integer, float, anything based on your condition, it will return the value. So now, as it return the value, so you can print it out in the console. How can you print it out? You can print it out with the help of the SYSO method, right? And you can directly object whatever object created dot add. You could see here you need to give the argument value, that is the called argument. Two parameter you want to pass, you can give the value, suppose say 20 and then 30. Now in case you want to write use the same method multiple times with different value, you can use them. So instead of that, like 40 plus 50, so you are writing it one times and you can use them in number of times. So now it will give you the real time value of this after doing the performance, right, based on the method objective. Now 20 plus 30 equal to 50 and 40 plus 50 equal to 90. So tomorrow in case instead of write add, you want to just multiply, suppose say, right, without method changing method name also, you can do it. Now it will work accordingly. So 20 into 30 equals 600 and 40 into 50 multiplied by 2 is 2000, right? So that is the way you can change only one time, and automatically wherever your method is being called, everywhere it will be impacted or it will be changed accordingly. So this is called the method, built-in method, which is already built in Java, and right, or the user defined method where without returning value and with returning value. Returning value can be any kind of data type. It can be integer, float, right, double, like character, right, any kind of string, or that like boolean as well, true and false, like you already seen. Then the constructor, in like in the context of method, the constructor will be there. Okay, and method overloading part I will be covering in the Java ops concept, like tomorrow. Then you can see, right, we can create the similar kind of method, right, with the changing the argument or the data type. So constructor is a block of code similar to the method. It is called when an instance of the object is created and memory is allocated for the object. The purpose of constructor is to initialize the object of a class when the purpose of a method is to perform the task by executing Java code. In other words, constructor provides memory to an object. Without initializing object, right, you cannot use its property. But a constructor, as and when you are creating the object or instance, automatically your constructor will be invoked. So that is the important beauty of the constructor. So constructor can be overloaded but cannot be overridden. Constructor should be the same name as the class name. Constructor in Java can't abstract final static. Constructor cannot have any implicit return type, explicit return type. So how you can understand whether it's a constructor or this is a method? So method can have any name, including your class name. So what is my class name? Season 4. Method can have an return type, right? It can have void or any kind of float, decimal, all this stuff. But how you can write the constructor? So it will be same name as the class name. So this is my class name. So I will try to create a constructor, public access modifier, and without a return type, and this is the way I will be creating a constructor. So I want to give something called test constructor. Okay. So this is the way I have written a constructor. So constructor name should be same name as the class name. Constructor cannot have return type. It can have any body. Now what is the difference between the method and a constructor? So here you would see in the main method I am creating the object or instance. But in case I want to call the method, right, I have to use that object reference and then I need to call the method, then only I can get the desired value. But for the constructor, as and when you are creating any object or instance, automatically your constructor will be invoked. So that is the beauty of the constructor. Okay, you need no need to call the constructor separately. As and when you are creating any new object or instance, automatically your constructor will be invoked. You could see now it is coming. So here I did not call anything. I just tried to create an object or instance, automatically constructor is getting invoked. So now in case you want to create one more object, say object 1, again your constructor will be invoked. So that is the way. In case you want to use the constructor multiple times, you can create the and constructor can be overloaded. I'll cover in tomorrow's session, but still, how you can overload it? So you can have the similar method name or constructor name, but it should have some different data type or the number of argument. So here you could see error message is coming. Why? Because method name cannot be the same or constructor name cannot be same. So here what I can do, I can change signature. Okay, that is changing signature because here it is blank, here I am passing some argument, and here I am giving something called test constructor, and then I can concatenate, and I want to print the value of a also here. Okay, now whenever I am creating the object, I can here pass some argument, say integer to lt. So that is the way I can create some new object because that is the constructor type, so it is supporting, right? In case you are giving something like 20 comma 30, it will not support because that kind of constructor did not create. I have created constructor season 4 which is blank argument, and where I can pass one more argument which will be integer data type, so that it will support. So here I can remove the part. Now as and when I am calling that one, so automatically the relevant constructor will be called, and here I am first one of the not giving any argument, so your blank constructor that will be called wherever constructor without any argument. Now if you run it, you could see automatically your constructor will be invoked, right? First one is the test constructor because there was no argument I am passing, so the constructor wherever there is no argument is there, that constructor body is getting invoked. And second one, here I am passing like some argument based on the integer type which is value is 20, so the relevant constructor body is being called. So that is the beauty of the right constructor, so that you can write really have less line of code. So as and when you are creating the object or instance, automatically your constructor will be called. And in case of method, you need to first create the object or instance, then you need to separately write call that method separately to get the desired outcome. So in the real-time framework also I will show you how right you can create the constructor instead of method, so that as and when you will be creating the object or instance, immediately your constructor will be called, and that remaining line wherever it is inside the constructor it will be executed. So that is the primary difference between method and constructor too as well. So constructor will be same name as the class name. Constructor cannot have any return type. So that is the only difference. So here you could try to give a simple example here, right? You could see constructor body can be here class and right this class name, and method sorry constructor name also will be same name as the class name and without a return type. But in case you are giving return type, it will be treated as a method, not the constructor. So any questions, guys? Are you able to understand the concept? because that concept is really required. Okay, so that is the way slowly you'll be understanding, but whenever I will be going to the framework down the line, it will clarify more and more, right? Opportunity, right? I will able to get more an opportunity to learn the implementation as well in the real time. Okay, then I'll go for the Java wrapper class. So what is wrap? Means it is wrapping inside something, right? So in case you want to give some maybe gift, you can wrap in some wrapping paper like that. Okay. So a wrapper class is a Java whose object wraps or contain a primitive data type. So what is primitive data type? Like you already seen, like numeric part, right? Integer, then like floating part, then char, right? Then boolean. This is the primitive data type. It's from Java. But whenever you want to deal with the Java collection framework or GCF does not understand the primitive data type. It only deal with object and classes. But those primitive data type does not belong to any class. So that's the problem. And that to solve that problem, Java wrapper class came into the picture, and through the wrapper class we can also solve the issue. So whenever you will be learning that collection framework, you can get more and more insight on that. So wrapper class are used to convert any data type into an object. So data type are not object. Object means instance from the class. The primitive data type are not object. They do not belong to any class. They are just defined in the language itself. Sometimes it is required to convert data type into object in Java language. So wrapper class provides a mechanism to wrap primitive values in an object so that primitive can do activities for the object like being added to the different collection framework. It can be array list, linked list, hash set, hash map, etc. There are 8 classes of Java.lang packages known as wrapper class in the object Java. You could see for character it will be wrapper class name will be character, for integer it will be integer, like that. Okay. So today you will not able to get more details, but yeah, I will try to explain it how you can deal with the wrapper class. Say you are defining something called integer a equal to 30. Okay, and you can definitely print it out, the value. Okay. But this is still a data type, primitive data type, and this is not belong to any class. So that is the reason whenever you want to use it, that a in the Java collection framework, it will not support you. So first thing that I need to convert in some wrapper class. So how can I do it? So relevant integer wrapper class will be integer, integer, right? So I will be creating an object integer, say wrap int. That is the object I am creating, equal to new integer, because that is the class, wrapper class. Integer is the wrapper class, and here I can pass the argument called a. Now a is an object of the integer class, and what is the object name is called wrapInt. So now if I use that wrapInt, so it is an object of the wrapper class integer, and it can be considered, right, in the any of the further operation, primarily in the collection framework. So that is the problem. It will give you same value, but that a is belong to now that as a object of integer wrapper class, which is wrapInt. Now that wrapInt object I can use it anywhere down the line. Similarly, say in case you can declare something called double d equal to, say, any value you can give it. Now if you want to print out that one, it will give you the value, but that is not an object again. So what you need to do, you need to call that relevant wrapper class. D. Now again you can print it out. So it will give you the same value, but it is now wrapped as an object of the relevant wrapper class. So that is the one time one benefit you can get it from the wrapper class. Apart from that, there are some other benefit you can also get it using the wrapper class methods. So say you know, right, some sort of non-primitive object is called string. So in case you are defining something called string, say str, and you are giving any value, suppose say 1 2 3 4, like that is the value. So what is this? Actually you are defined data type as string, but your value is 1 2 3 4, so it is numeric. But now say in case you want to do some operation, right, str plus 100, so what output it will be giving? Can anyone tell me what will be the output here? What will be the output? Yeah, so it will be concatenated, right? Yes. So though it is a numeric value, but as you are like defining inside a string, so it will be treated as a string. So it will not be considered as a numeric part. So it will be concatenate. Okay, somehow you might define generic part, it's called string. But in case string is having only numeric or decimal or the float value, so you want to write perform the operation based on that, you cannot do it. So what you need to do, you need to, in case it is really a numeric value, so that you can convert that particular string into that integer, then you can do the operation, so it will behave on the like integer operation, which is plus, as will be treated as a addition instead of concatenation. So here what you can do, there is a wrapper class integer for the int type, and there is a method available called parseInt. Okay, you could see there is a method which is coming from integer wrapper class. Run type is integer. Okay, so I can store some integer variable here. Now int, say str int, like that is the variable, I can change it. Now similar way, in case you want to do the operation here with the new variable, so it, instead of concatenation, it will be simply addition. So whatever value it will be, 2 100, it will be added 314, right? It will be like that. Similarly, in case it's having float double, so you can create the object, right, 1334, like double, right, double dot parse double, double dot parse float, these are the options available. So if I call the double wrapper class, if you press dot, you could see there are the lots of important methods available in the wrapper class. So there is a method will be like parse, right? You could see parse double, so it is coming from the double wrapper class, return type is double. So that is the way you can deal with this thing. There are a lot of methods available in the wrapper class, right? For the, there are 8 wrapper class pertaining to 8 different data type, and you can deal with that. So that is the way, right? One thing is that data type does not belong to any class, so they will not be do any operation in the Java collection framework. So the thing is that, right, you need to first convert them into the relevant wrapper class object. After that you can deal with the Java collection framework. Apart from that, suppose in case you are defining something as string, but string actually containing some sort of float or double or like other value, right, true or false, or maybe, right, or maybe the character, or maybe the integer value or byte value, right, sorry, short data type. But actually in case you want to deal with that same string variable, so it will only just do, you can do that relevant, right, concatenation other operation, you cannot actually do the whatever way you want to do with that, like numeric operation. So first thing you need to convert that, right, that variable into the relevant wrapper class object, and then you can do the operation based on the relevant data type. So that is the primary importance of the wrapper class. So these are all in sequence. So why I have tried to cover, right, so that you can get the clarity, right, how to deal whenever you will be going slowly in that like complex Java topics and basic to advanced, so that you will getting the right confidence why it is happening, how this came into the picture, otherwise it will be confusing. So that is the reason I have tried to cover that concept. Then there's a date on calendar class functions available in case you want to deal with the date. So date is also required. In case suppose say in case you are doing some testing, right, you need to deal with the current date and calendar functions from your system, or you need to suppose say capture a screenshot. So you need to generate the screenshot based on the current timestamp, so that you can understand that screenshot was taken on that day based on the name itself. So the class date represent a specific instance in time. With millisecond precision, the date class of java.util package implements serializable, clonable, and comparable interface. It provides constructor and method to deal with date and time with the Java. Java calendar class also is an abstract class which provides method for converting date between a specific instance in time and a set of calendar fields such as month, year, hour, etc. So let's try to see how we can deal with these date calendar functions, date, time, all this stuff, and how we can create the date format based on our requirement. So whatever way system will correct, create it, because maybe that part I don't want to get it. I want to change the time and I want to get it based on my requirement, because I'll work on the requirement, so I need to change it. So what I will do for the calendar, I need to create a object. So that is the different thing. Calendar, I can create an object cal. How you can create an object? So it is not like that, like a new object, like the order is not like that, because it is a predefined class in Java. So calendar dot, there is a method called get instance through which you can create an object or instance from the calendar class. Now if you want to print it out, calendar variable or object whatever created dot get type, you could see there are a lot of methods available in the calendar class. You can get the desired date time, which will be in the default format of the date time calendar class. Saturday, September 16, your current system dates, 1956 8 means 7:56 p.m. IST, and this is the year. Okay. Now, in case you want to get only the year, date, day of week, all this stuff, you can also get it. So, how can I get it? You need to use that cal.get method, get, and here you need to give the relevant field. So what you want to get, from the calendar class dot, you could see amtm format, month or day of month, all this stuff you can get it. Okay, so I can get lot of things here. I can get dot year, right, day of year, you could see day of year, which will be giving the integer coming from the calendar class. Here you can get the month, month, or you can get the weeks in case it's available. So if you press dot, you can get all the methods also, weeks of the month, weeks of the year, all this stuff. Yeah, you could see the first one is day of the month. So today's date is 16, so it is giving 16. What is the year? 2013. What is the day of the year? It is 365 days, but 60th September, if you just start January as 1, January 2 is 2, 3 like that. So it is giving you 259 days from the year out of 365. What is the month? It is giving 8. Why it is giving 8? Because January will be treated as 0th month. February 1, March 2, April 3rd, 3 month, 0 to 1 it will started. So September actually value should be 9, but month will be 9 minus 1. So it is starting with 0. Week of the year, 37th week. Because every year it will be having 52 weeks. So it is 37 week. That is the way, you can get the desired part. Okay. Now, next. Say whatever calendar you already created, but you want to increase your system date, maybe year, month, or date like that. Okay, so how can you do it? Cal dot add. You could see what I want to add, the field and the field amount. What I want to change? I want to change the year, say. I want to change. You can want change the date or month also. I want to change the year, and this is my positive value. I want to increase the calendar year by 2 years. Okay, now you could see your output will be changed accordingly. You could see 2025 here. date will be still same because you want to change the year. In case you want to write also change, right, the month. Okay, also I want to change the month by 3 or maybe 5, right? So what will happen? I want to change the month by 5, so it will be 2026 because 5 months mean it will be February. September plus 5 months, it will be February month, right? So that is the way it is changing accordingly. In case you want to decrease the year, right, you can give it minus say 3 5. Okay, so it will reduce the year by 5 and it will increase the month again by 5. So it will be 2019 or something like that, right? It's 29, and date is also changing accordingly, and your output also changing accordingly. So that is the way you can, right, change the calendar date, year, month, like that. But sometime, right, I don't want to change all this stuff, right? I want to simply set the date, complete date. So how can you do it? Cal dot set, right? And whatever you want to set, month, date, all this stuff, you can do it. Okay. So I want to change the year first, say 2020, then say month I want to make it say October, so that will be 9, and date also I can give it, suppose say 25 October I want to give. Now you could see the output after setting the calendar date. You could see 25th October 2020, and definitely that will be Sunday, and time I did not change it, so it will remain same. Automatically it is changing, right? Number of years, number of days accordingly. So in case it is 31st October, 31st December, so here it will be 11th, and you can give it 31st. Okay, so it will be 31st December. December month will be 11. You could see now 31st December, and you could see date is 3366. Maybe 2020 is leap year, so it was having 366 days instead of 365 days, and you could see that is the way it is coming. So that is the way, right, you can really deal with this calendar functions or method. Then there is another thing similar to that is a date class in available in Java. So similar way, in case you don't want to use the calendar, sometimes you can use the date also. So date is a class, you can create the object here equal to new date. Okay. So why I am just considering that date, because date you can also change the convert the date. So that is the reason instead of calendar you can use it. So SOI, so if you want to print it out, right, dt dot to string, you can convert it to string. Now there is an error coming because why? Because date is the class, date dt equal to new date. No, I don't think that any. I need to import the date. Yeah. So 0 means it is starting from the 17th, right? You can give any date also if you want to give any format, say year, suppose say 2000, right? Then month is suppose September, and say date is 10th, like that is the way you can define the date. So it will be printing current date. You could see 9th 10, it is adding that 17,000 by default. Okay, so you can give it like the remaining part, as it is adding 17,000 by default, so 300. So you can give the 2000, or if you give 320, so you can, it will be 2020. Okay. 2010. So that is the way, right? It will be work like that. 1900. So 1900 is coming as default. 1900 0101. So you can add accordingly to that calendar date. Then suppose in case you want to right change the convert, so also if you want to change it, right, the I mean complete part, say here you can add some other format also. So there will be another thing will be there called simple date format class. Okay, so dt date, if I just remove it, what will happen? It is showing some error. Add argument to match date. Okay, so now it will be 0101 1900. So 189932. So that is the is starting from the date. Not sure whether you can give it like other part, say 10 hours, 10 minute, 10 second, and say 5 400 millisecond. No, it is not allowing. So only it's allowing three parts. So that is the way also you can get the date without converting to string. Also, think you can use it. Yeah, it is also working. Okay, so that is the way you can deal with the date. So I think something changed in the date previously without giving that one, right? That one actually it is used to give the current date, but not sure what happening here. Something might get changed maybe in the Java also in the new thing. It is giving suggestion to add some argument or something like. See if I giving it long 100, 200, what is happening? Let's see. Hmm. Millisecond. Any long value in case I'm giving? Yeah, it is still giving like that. So that is the way date is also behaving. But previously, actually, date used to give that the current value in case you are not giving anything, but it is not supporting now. Maybe something got changed. Okay, in case I'm get some information, I will let you guys know. So in case it is giving some similar format, right? So you can use that date format and format date formatter also. Simple date format class was available. With the help of that, right, you can change the thing. In case it's coming like hour, minute, second, but you want to change it minute, hour, second. So simple date format was available through which you can change the right pattern of the date. So any questions from these two topics, guys? Date and calendar function and Java wrapper class. Yeah, sure. Yes. Yeah, tell me. No, in the down there is no corporate wrapper class. These are the couple of line. Yeah, that is the internal character. You don't need to worry about that. Okay, so that is in few of the Java thing, right? Even I don't understand why it is strike off. Date also sometimes you can get some strike off, but it's working properly. You no need to worry about that. Yeah, yeah, right. I also tried to say, but I did not get the. No, no, no. It sometimes it is giving that way only. but you don't need to worry about that. It is working fine based on the thing. So the wrapper class I already told, right? These are the like normal data type is the just simply primitive data type that they do not belong to any particular class. Okay, but normally few of the area of Java they do not understand anything beyond outside class and object, but they do as they do not belong to any class or definitely object. So first you need to convert them to the wrapper class object, and automatically now it's object of the wrapper class. It can be treated anywhere down the line. So that is the primary objective of the wrapper class. Yeah. Any other question, guys? So I mean, this is the very I mean small thing, right? You can learn. So that will help you, right, to learn the Java also. Okay. Because this small thing, right, it will impact you. So why I have tried to cover all the area wherever there are lot of things of Java. Even as a tester, you can like try to understand different 100 concept. But whatever concept will be covered, that will be really required, right, for your framework development of the Selenium code as well. So there is no end of syllabus, I told, right? But whatever way I have constructed my syllabus, that it will give you the more holistics whenever you want to jump into the framework code, that so that whatever is really required to start your journey, that will be covered in the session. Okay, after that, once you really got the good confidence, you can go to anywhere, right? You can go to any level, and you can do the R&D, do the learning the thing. But these are the thing, right? First 3 month time spent on that, practice it, right? Try to go the different frame, different pages, and once you get the confidence, after that you can really I mean spend some time to excel yourself down the line to any limit, because sky is the limit. There is no limit. Okay, so then slowly you can proceed accordingly. Okay, anyone any other questions? All good. So are you getting some sort of insight on the basic Java part, guys? Okay. Okay. Yeah, because these are the thing. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because these are the thing. Interviewer will ask the question. Okay, it is not like that. Something will come from the sky. I mean, which is you do nobody knows. Okay, it is not like that. But these are the concept. If you are able to grasp it, you can immediately answer them. Like suppose I am giving something, right? So that they will ask that what is character data type, how you can convert a character to a string, right? Then what is array? Same way, right? One question can have 5 6 questions. What is array? What are the drawback of array? Why you think that data type cannot be used in the collection framework? How you can collection use the collection framework for that drawback? Whatever you faced in the array. These are the 5 or 6 questions. I mean, I personally used to ask also. Okay, but in case you know, right, that is the way you can give the thing. Okay, and constructor and method, right? What is the difference between the constructor and method? Now you can understand what they are using. What is the different type of method, like built-in method or user-defined method? In user-defined method, how you can create a method where it will give you return value, and how it will not giving a return value. So that is the way you can really talked about on that. Okay, the last topics. I mean, here will be 3 or 4 more topics in conjunction with that. Is exception handling from today. So, what is exception? Exception means suppose you want to do something, but it is not giving allowing it. Because in Java also, whatever way you think, in case you are able to allow it, then you can do some wrong thing also, right? So that is the reason whenever Java develop, they already implemented some exception handling. Exception might having some different thing also. So exception or exceptional event is a problem. Event is a problem that arises during the execution of the program. When exception occurs, the normal flow of the program is disrupted and the program or application terminates abnormally, which is not recommended. Therefore, these exceptionals or exceptions need to be handled. And exceptions can occur for many different reasons. Suppose say you have entered some invalid data which is not really valid. Suppose say you want to do some operation on a file which is already open, some Excel file or maybe the Word document file or Notepad. Can you do the operation? No, in case already open, it's read only mode, na. Suppose say in case you want to perform something for which your properties got changed for a particular element. Suppose say you want to do some execution, but that time your internet connection will be lost. right? Or your speed got lost. So that is the kind of exception thing might come and you need to handle it. So there are primarily three kind of exceptions available in Java. One is checked exception. In case you are doing some mistake, right? A kind of syntax or other stuff, right? As and when you are saving the code, right? You will getting the error. Okay, unchecked exception, but whenever you are saving the code, that kind of error will not able to handle it. But whenever running the code, then only you can get to know. Suppose say in case your array is having 5 size but you want to access the sixth element, so during saving the code it will not throwing an error because it's not invalid that time. But whenever you want to execute, that time it will show you that it's index out of bound, right? All this stuff. And sometimes there's a error which is irrecoverable or unrepairable. Suppose say your machine kind of failure out of memory. Suppose say in case you want to save a 10 MB file, but you're only in your memory only 1 MB is available. So these are the kind of exceptions which is error might come. So in the Java there are 5 kind of keywords available to handle the exception, like try, catch, finally, throw and throws. Primarily will be using try, catch and finally. That is the reason I'll be covering it here also. The try keyword is used to specify block where user should place the exceptions code. The try block must be followed by either catch or finally. It means that user cannot use the try block alone. So try block always can be surrounded with the catch block. So catch block is used to handle the exception. It must be preceded by try block, which means user cannot use catch block alone. It can be followed by finally block later. So finally block is used to execute the important code of the program. It is executed whether the exception is handled or not, irrespective of the exception. The throw is used to create any custom exception. The throws keyword is used to declare the exception. It does not throw any exception itself. It specifies that there might be a occur or chances and exceptions might thrown. What are the different kind of exceptions might come, right, during your Java or here primarily I have tried to. So Java defines several types of exceptions that relate to its various class library. Java also allows user to define their own exception just using the throw keyword. Built-in exceptions are the exceptions which are available in Java library. These exceptions are suitable to explain certain error situation. So what is arithmetic exception? In case you want to perform some arithmetic problem, right? Suppose you want to divide something by 0, it will throw the arithmetic exception. Array index out of bound, I already showed, draw it. Like in case you want to access any negative or maybe out of right the length, so it will be throwing array index. Similarly, string also you will be throwing string index out of bound. Class not found. Suppose say initially you have declared a class and you want to create the object, but somehow you change the name of the class, so it will throw the error. File not exception, right? Sometimes file path is not correct, or file name got changed, or file is not accessible. IO exception sometime in case output input operation might fail, it could throw interrupt exception whenever suppose you are using some thread, right? But thread is in waiting or maybe the like ideal stage or sleeping, you cannot use it the thread. No such field. Suppose say your class is not having that particular field or maybe the value got changed, all this stuff. No such method. Suppose say you are already having the method or you have removed the method or rename the method, also that kind of problem might come, or maybe that method is not existent in your class. Null pointer exception. Suppose in case you define some object as null, maybe suppose a string is a null string, so it is not having anything, right? So but in case you want to access the size, so null is not having any size, so it will give you the exception. Number format exception, right? Suppose say in case you are just like the wrapper class I showed, right? But in case suppose your string is only having string, then you cannot convert it to double or float. In case of some numeric or double value, then only you can do it. So in case it's not like that, then you could throw the error number format exception. Runtime exception sometime like that kind of exception might also come due to some several issues, internal issue. So that is a different kind of exception which you need to handle it in the for your Java coding. So try catch block. So how you can handle the exception with the help of try catch block or finally block? So try catch block contains set of statements where an exception might occur. A try block is always followed by a certain block which handle the exception that occurs in associated try block. A try block must be followed by catch blocks or finally block or both. A single try block can also have multiple number of catch blocks, but try block you cannot do alone. You need to surround with catch or finally. But in case there is no exception coming, then what will happen? Your try block will be completely ignored. But finally block you can also use in association with the try block, try catch block. But in case you not having any exception, you still your finally block will be executed. Suppose you have a line of code and you have always used try catch block, but your exception is not coming, but you always want to close your browser, right, after executing all your line of code. But in case of there is no error, your try catch block will be completely ignored. Then how you will write your code for the closing the browser and clearing the cookies, all this stuff? So you can use surrounds with finally block. So you, in case your exception occur or does not occur, your try catch block can be ignored, but your finally block will be always executed. That is the way, right? You can recommend try catch block with the finally block. Now let's see how you can deal with this block. So let's rewrite couple of steps here, couple of line of code. Say code before any exception. Okay, and here you can give something called code after exception. Okay, now let's define some exception. Integer a equal to 20 divided by 0. So it's it has been exception, right? It is not throwing any error because you cannot get the error during the compile or saving your code. So it is error because anything cannot be divided by 0. Now what will happen? Can anyone tell me what will the output? Can anyone try to tell me what will be the output here? Just give a try. No worry. Yeah, exactly. Here exception will be triggered and the remaining line of code immediately your execution will be stopped. That is the reason I want to handle use the exception so that exception will be thrown and it can be solved, but it will not interrupt my remaining line of code execution. So in case you are having 1000 line of code and your exception is coming at 200 line, so your execution will be stopped there immediately in the 200 line and remaining 800 line will not be executed. But in the remaining 800 line I can discover one few more defect also, right? But that will not happen. So that is the reason, in case you know that some sort of problem might be there, you can handle them, which is not the bug but it's a problem, right, called exception. You can deal the exception so that remaining line of code can be also executed. You should see that code also executed, but as an exception getting immediately your thing, remaining lines of code is not being executed, it is throwing you arithmetic exception. Okay, so that is the part is coming arithmetic exception. Now how can you surround exception? So there is an option source surround with, you could see try catch block. So if you do not know the syntax, you can still surround with try catch block. Automatically you could see try catch block is getting handled here, right? Now let's try to run the code. Now you could see the exception came, arithmetic exception, and your code after execute exception also it's executed, but your exception is coming a 30 line number 1, but it's handled, so that is remaining line of code can still be executed. So that is the way I have given you manually. But in case you don't want to write, do that one, sorry, automatically, right? How can you write the exceptions code for the try catch block? You could see try, then statement catch, and then exception handling. So I'll be surrounding with try here, try. So you can also add it, right, manually. Try, then part, then I can add with that, right? Then here I can do catch. Say here I can print out exception, or I can give that admin exception also. So it will be handled. Exact exception name. Exception is the generic. In case you do not know the exact one, you can give it that one way. Okay, but exception it will handle all kind of exception. Exception E, and then here you can print out the exception E. Now you could see that is your own customize, right? Whatever we have tried to written. Now you could see exception is coming. What is exact exception? Admin exception, and but remaining line of code executed. But you do not know the exception name somehow, right? You are not able to recognize. You can give generic exception that will handle all kind of exception. Any arithmetic, other exception, whatever I told, right, in the previous slide. You could see there is no harm. But now see there is no actual exception is coming, right? 20 divided by 2, which is a valid one. right? It will not throw any exception. So what will happen? Your try catch block will be completely ignored now, right? It will be completely ignored. In case there is no exception, you could see there is nothing is coming. But in case you are using finally block, so that is the keyword from coming from Java. That is the reason color is getting changed to blue, right? Now you could see. Your finally block will be always executed. So here if you write some code right for closing the browser, claim the cookies, you can definitely do it. So that is the way, right, you could handle any kind of exception through the right try catch block. But finally block will be always executed irrespective of your exception is coming or not. Okay. So any exception is coming, that will definitely handle by try catch block. But finally block is always be executed whether exception is coming or not. You could see. Now I'll show you another line of code, another line of another exception. Say, right, you've defined something called integer a array. Integer, say, what is the size? Maybe 4. Okay. Now you want to print out the value, say a at the sixth place, sixth position index, but your size is 3. So it will throw you the error. You could see index out of bound. You could see index 6 out of bound, length is 4. So now you can give here exception, or you can simply give that exception name, exactly exception name. So it will be still handle. And finally block is, you could able to see it's always executed, right? But now in case say that your thing you want to just access it at 2, right? So it will give you that default one 0, right, because you did not define anything, but it is, you could see it is working fine. 0 value is giving, but finally block still executed. Your strike edge block is completely ignored. So that is the way, in case you know this kind of exception might occur, so you can handle those exception well and before, so that your remaining line of code will not be impacted or executed. Okay, I will repeat it once more time. After that I will take it any questions. So in Java there are couple of conditional statements available through which you can write check the flow of the program, and in case any kind of right validation issue is there, you can check it also. So if can be used only for the positive condition, but in case you want to check the positive or negative condition, you can go with the if else. In case you want to check the multiple condition, so you can go with that if else if ladder. Okay, and in case you want to go with the other condition, right, multiple condition, you can go with that switch statement, which can be surrounded by the break keyword. Sometimes you can also use nested if else, so if else inside the if else. So these are the couple of conditional statement. Method is nothing but a reusable component which you can only write one time, and you can use n number of time anywhere, and you can just update the method code automatically wherever method is being used. Automatically everywhere your code will be impacted automatically. That is the beauty of the method. There are some sort of like inbuilt method available, like string, date, time, calendar function, all this stuff. User defined method can be without returning value, which will be void return type, and with returning value it can be anything data type like int, double, float, all this stuff. Constructor is similar to method, but it will be having the same name as the class name with a return type. But the difference is that as and when you are creating the object or instant, automatically your constructor can be invoked. Constructor can be overloaded also, but cannot be overridden. And the thing I will be explaining in the next class. Wrapper class is a class whose object wraps or contain primitive data type. Primarily, wrapper class solution came to handle the Java collection framework, because data type are just simply primitive data type, they do not belong to any class. so that in case you want to deal with the Java collection framework, your data type will not work. So you need to convert them into the relevant class object. After that, you can work accordingly. Okay, date and calendar function, a lot of things available, which is Java inbuilt function. Exception are nothing, right? But the exceptional event or problem which arises during the execution of the program. So in case your exception did not handle, so as and when exception is happening, your remaining line of code will be interrupted or execution will be problem having the problem, right? So checked exception, unchecked exception error will be there. You can handle the exception with the help of try, catch, and finally block. So there are a lot of exceptions which you might be having in the Java, and this thing can be covered using try, catch, block, and the finally block. So try, catch, block, in case you are having the exceptions, you can definitely handle the exception. You can get the desired exception name. But in case you do not having the exceptions, though you have used the try, catch, block, your try, catch, block will be completely ignored, but your finally block will not be ignored any cases in whether your exception is coming or not. So that's all from today's session, guys. Thank you.